I'm Sean Burnett. I am the owner of FEAT International, both locations, one of the owners.
Refresh it to who you are and what you do.
I own, operate, cut, all the above, do all the books for the barbershop. Absolutely everything from top to bottom. I am there.
Perfect. Good.
Hey there, my name is Sulaiman Sharifi. I'm a barber here at FEAT International. I've been in the business for about 5 years now. I've been cutting. I started off with co-op here, and I've been here ever since. Yeah, that's it.
How long have you been cutting hair?
I've been cutting hair for about 40 years, give or take, a little less than 40 years. I started off when I was probably about 16 years old, cutting in the basement of my house. I moved to Ottawa when I was about 19 and was cutting in a barbershop. That barbershop actually was segregated, black and white, literally. So there was a hair salon in the front and a barbershop with 2 barbers in the back. I eventually left there with a gentleman who used to work there, and we went and opened up FEAT on Somerset in 1997. And then we moved to a second location, this one here on Bank Street, in about 2000. So we've been here now 2025. We're here. So we've been here for a long time.
That's fantastic. That's sister right there.
I always say to everybody, if you can grow it, we can cut it. There's no real specialty. I guess I think when the industry started, we were doing obviously the urban black individuals. But then when we moved to Somerset, a lot of the Asian community was there, so we did a lot of the Asian cuts there as well. And then I think our clientele grew from mixed hair, white, black, Asian, Indian, anyone, women, men, everything. Exactly.
Well, since I am a little bit more new to the whole thing, I would say I'm more, my skill is more on the black kind of hair, but I can do a little bit of everything though. Like I've learned a lot here. Getting the experience here definitely expanded my ability, so I can do all types of hair now. But yeah, I would say, especially because I'm still learning every day now, I'm still more new, more fresh to it. Definitely, it's easier for me with the black hair.
My first haircut.
Yeah, first ever haircut.
I don't. Honest to God, I don't even remember. That was probably maybe my father, but would have been probably my first. I guess an old man, regular haircut, right? Those days. But yeah, I think that was probably my first hair with my father, and then he's still alive, thank the Lord. So so I still cutting his hair every time I go back to Hamilton. But yeah, that's probably my first haircut with my dad. Just a regular one-level haircut. Nothing too special. No, I don't even think it was a fade. And then I think we evolved with my friends doing like flat tops and skin fades. In those days, that was the early 90s, right? We were doing that a lot. Then went to the Caesar, and then everything has evolved from there. Mohawk, everything.
Okay, that's what's there.
But we've done that. I can do absolutely anything. And the designs were very big in the early 90s. In kind of the early 2000s, it started coming back as well.
How about the high tops? Was it popular back then?
Yeah, for sure. The Big Daddy Kane era, we definitely did a lot of that. Those eras with the breakers and the hip hop era, we did a lot of that.
That's big for haircuts.
Absolutely.
How about you? How was your first haircut look like?
My first haircut was terrible. Definitely terrible. It's not a haircut that I was proud of, but my dad believed in me, that's for sure. He was my first client, and he just told me, you know what, just practice on me, do whatever you want. You make a mistake, it's okay, I'm here to support you, So started on him, made all the mistakes, and ever since then, I got better, and this is where I'm at now.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I feel like up to now, I still watch a lot of barbers, even when I'm not cutting. I'll see the little details that they're doing, different tricks. Everyone has different ways to cut hair. And I also have like barbers that work next to me. So sometimes when I'm cutting, I'll even have one of the barbers give me an advice while I'm cutting hair. And it helps me out every day, So I feel like that's how I improve every day more and more. Yeah, man.
So on your case all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's okay, it's good. It's good experience and it's good advice. So I'm here to take it and improve my skills every day. You
know what? I wish I could say that. I think that we all mentor each other. I think that I have never had a formal lesson a day in my life. But it was much more difficult again back in those days compared to now. I think that the barbers who come here now, we are on them. It's like Simon Cowell and American Idol. We're definitely on them. So I know they hate us and love us. They hate us in the beginning, love us after. But we are very tough on them. The industry is not really regulated like it should be. So a lot of the guys out there who I see cutting, there are a lot of new guys who are awesome. And a lot of new guys who are out there who I said that they're not ready for
They're not ready.
and there's nothing really to regulate them properly. A complete revamp. But I think that it's going to take years to do a complete revamp. There's a complete separation between the hairdressers and barbers, and even their ideology. A lot of the barbers are unlicensed. It's an underground world, and a lot of the barbers who are quote unquote licensed are making up their own makeshift license.
Yeah.
Right. I think that if they redid the whole industry, I think everyone should learn sanitization and the basics between everybody, black, white, or whatever, hairdresser and barber, and then you can branch off to different things. They don't recognize a lot of times black hair. They don't recognize mixed hair. They don't recognize a lot of those different things. Proper skills, and that type of stuff. They don't recognize a lot of these things. And in terms of clipper work or whatever, so it needs to be revamped. There are barbers who do offer courses. We have done that as well. Offer courses, but again, it needs to be recognized by the ministry as well. Right, so I know that we have addressed that several times, but nothing really done.
So many, it's hard to regulate.
Exactly, and especially in Ottawa, it's oversaturated with barbershops.
What do you think it causes oversaturation? Is it because it feels like a quick buck? Or?
I think so. I think that a lot of the people here who are doing it are not taking it as serious as they should. There's a part-time hustle, and I think that's it's easy to get into it. It's fairly cheap, and then they want to make a quick buck, as you said. I think that if you had a license and people are paying top dollar for this license, and then it would weed out a lot of people, and they would set a industry standard. But it's very difficult to even regulate that as well, because every barbershop, everyone is kind of self-regulating as well, Wild West.
Exactly. It's like a driver's license.
Exactly. And even with that, who's to say this is better than that? So it's very subjective.
That's true, though.
Right.
Shopping inspectors or...
Right. I mean, there are, I guess, out there. I haven't seen any, but even that is like, what are you looking at? But what is a good fade? What I might deem as a good fade, someone else might not deem as a good fade. So exactly. I know that in the States, everything's regulated, and the standard is not 100%, but definitely it is a standard out there of operation. Customer service. I think that is the key. I think a lot of times people are coming for a haircut, but they're coming for the experience. They're coming for the professionalism. They're coming for the knowledge of hair, of what is going on. I think that all that encompasses, a good barber or a great barber. You know what I mean? So it's not just the haircut. They're coming for the entire experience. If you're a client who is very religious, you might want someone who's kind of laid back. You kind of want a barber who meets your personality. If you're a talkative client, you want a barber who speaks. If you're someone who's more passive, then you want someone who's a lot more quiet. Yeah. But you definitely want someone who's knowledgeable in terms of what they're offering and listening to the client. A lot of barbers don't listen, and that's probably the biggest complaint that from a client, either that's overpriced for what I got, the value versus service, or that it just is not what I asked for. So a lot of times, before you even turn on the clipper, are you listening to what they're asking? Are you meeting their needs? True.
What about you?
Honestly, I feel like he pretty much said everything. I don't really have much to add to that. Exactly what he said. That's all there is to it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
Not much to add. Not much to add. He said everything. I wouldn't say crazy. No. Haven't really had any crazy situations.
It was just decent, neutral.
Everything pretty neutral, yeah.
Okay.
Had some difficult situations, but nothing crazy. No.
Okay, nothing you can't handle.
No. I think I can handle everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's what we hope.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy things that happen. So
yeah.
You never know what can happen.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
We deal with the community, so I think that even in that, if you look outside your window, anybody, you're going to have your crazy people with mental health. You're going to have your people who are doctors, lawyers. You're going to have your people who are addicts. You're going to have your people who are drug dealers. You're going to have, it's a community that we're servicing. So I think that, in looking at those people, you're going to have crazy people. Yeah. And again, if you're a professional, you will know how to recognize people who are suffering from something versus someone who's just having a bad day or whatever. And that's your job to deal with them accordingly, right? So, I think we always see crazy people, but sometimes we have to be the crazy barbers to deal with them as well.
Right? That's true, though.
Right.
Especially when it comes to the barber, a lot of times there's not a lot of times where men can open up. So
right, yeah, for
sure. You guys like a therapist, basically.
For sure,
exactly.
So how do you guys deal with clients that maybe have difficulties in their lifetime or any relationships they can't deal with? How do you deal with that?
I've had a few experiences like that, and honestly, I'm very open, very I make them like I'm just very understanding, you know, and I feel like it also depends too. It's like those are the kind of things where it's like the client wouldn't just open up with anyone, right? I feel like they wouldn't just come to any barber and just open up about something personal that they have. They have to have some sort of connection with you, someone that they've been coming to for years or that they trust, you know? So I've had certain situations where, yeah, they're like my own clientele or people that come into the shop, they know us very well, and they're comfortable enough to open up a little bit. And they can trust me, you know? So I'm able to just understand, even give them advice on whatever I can. Just know that I am even there for them, and I'm hearing them, and I'm here to support them with whatever, you know?
As everyone knows, it's a quiet thing. So they will talk to the barber about their relationship, their job, their kids, and ask for advice. And as you said, when you do have that connection with that person, and if you are, in seeking of knowledge, a lot of times, even if it's not from the barber, from other clients, they'll kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and kind of men will support men, and and even the women sometimes when they're in there, they'll ask questions about their sons and stuff like that, and just get a different perspective as well if their father is not in the life, or just getting a different perspective on everything, because when you have so many people in here, there's not one right answer. A lot of times, everyone just has different perspective on how they would deal with any situation. So, and that's important as well.
Yeah.
To understand.
I don't know. Do you?
I think I wouldn't call it creative process, but there's, I always ask the client what they are looking for when they, if it's a new client, then we have how to define the place, and I would kind of get to know them before I even ask them about the haircut, and then once they are comfortable, then explain to me what you're looking for. Sometimes they'll express that they had a bad experience at another barbershop out of town or even in here, and then I'll always ask them what was wrong, what didn't you like, and they'll express that before I even start cutting. And then, of course, when I get that understanding, then okay, we'll take it really slow if they're kind of shy or whatever, and then go from there as to do the haircut. But every haircut's different, every client's different. Some are really, really scared, and they've had really bad experiences. And some, no big deal at all. Just cut my hair and don't say too much, So I do that every day, though.
Yeah, definitely. You guys able to see the type of people you cut to, right? So you definitely get an idea of where you go.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So that's what makes it perfect.
Absolutely.
And also, obviously, race don't matter when it comes to cutting hair. But what is maybe the difficulties of maybe trying to get a client to maybe get a haircut to fit their style? Sometimes guys come in and they be like, I don't know what I should do with my hair, but I need a haircut. Is there any process you guys do?
You can go ahead.
You know what? I think that a lot of men, probably whatever their prime was in their life, they're stuck in that generation.
Yeah.
Right? Women tend to change their hairstyles all over the place, where men are kind of stuck in that there. So when, a young man, until about maybe 25, 30, they're kind of developing themselves. And then after that, sometimes they get really stuck on, changing. And then that's probably the biggest obstacle that I've seen is that, okay, even we can see the direction. It's like remodeling a house. Yeah. And if we're the decorator or the designer, we know what it's going to look like. But even us selling it to them, if they're not comfortable with it, they're just not going to buy it. And there have been a lot of times where like they're truly bald and the hair needs to go, and they're just still stuck in that era. Right, exactly. And even no matter what we say, they're not comfortable, and they truly, it's their hair, their head, right? So who am I to say that? And again, there's almost two theories that I see a lot of times with barbers. Some barbers really want to ask the client, what they want, and they just do that. Other barbers like to suggest, you may want to change this, you might not, this is out of style or outdated or what have you, and, depending on the client, some are up to the changes and some do not want to change. So depending on the age group of the client and the age group of the barber will probably determine how much they are influencing the hairstyle of the client.
I feel like it all depends on the hair texture, really. It depends. Can't just give the same advice for everybody, right? Everyone has different hair types, different issues that some people have. Some people have bumps on the back of their head. It really just depends on the kind of hair. Yeah.
Any products you guys recommend sometimes?
Yeah, we have a product. What is it? The Smith.
Oh, it's that's the bumps.
Yeah. we have that bottle. It's like for little bumps that you get sometimes on the back of your head.
Yeah.
You get on the side. Some people get that. It usually helps for that to take it away or to reduce it a little bit. So we have that. But yeah.
And even to add on his part, I think that what I see a lot of difficulty is shaving with them, especially black men. A lot of the people, if their father was in the house, they might have learned how to shave from their father. Father wasn't in the house, they learned to shave from watching TV, but no one has actually sat and taught them the proper technique. A lot of the times, I don't understand why a lot of people don't ask the barber how to shave, right? So that would be maybe the best person to ask, but they're asking the wrong person. So they're just watching this and that, and then you just watch what they're doing, and then they're having all these theories as to what to do and what not to do, which is a lot of times incorrect. You know, and again, because the industry is not regulated, then of course you have every barber giving different advice as to what the proper technique of doing these things are. So again, like I think that education has to be from the barber, and then you pass it on to the client. You know, and a lot of times it's not done that way, and that information not disseminated properly, they're never gonna know what to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
true. I didn't think of that. I was asking my dad. Never asked the barber.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point. So, do you guys consider yourselves artists when it comes to cutting hair? Because it is kind of form of art.
I would say yeah.
You would say so.
Yeah, I would say we are artists.
Do you have any picky artists? Not picky artists, but picky clients sometimes.
Picky clients all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Day in, day out.
How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with that? Just gotta deal with it, man. Honestly, there's not much to it. The picky clients, you just gotta deal with them however they want the haircut, however picky they are. You just can't get upset, can't get bothered, can't feel any type of way about it. It's just, if they're picky, they're picky. It's their hair, right?
Yeah, sure.
We're here to, we're the ones working for them once they come in our chair, right? So that's it.
And you have to realize too that a lot of times the picky client will find the barber that they like and they connect with, and then eventually that picky client will not be as picky.
True.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Once they are, get their needs met, So a lot of times a client will come in who's picky, but he's had so many bad experiences by 20, 30 different barbers or however many that he just fed up and he's just, he's picky, right? Whereas now when he finds that right barber, it might not be me, it might be another barber shop. But once he finds that barber, then, that connection is made, and a lot of times that's who they trust, right? They trust with your hair, with everything,
Yeah.
True.
A lot of times people are more trustworthy the barber than anyone in the world, right? So,
yes.
Right.
Yes,
Once they find that person, and that's a lot of times too, is that it's not a competition. There's no such thing as the perfect barber. Every barber has their flaws, and it's who you really connect with. I don't care what shop you go to. There's the guys who are top tier, the guys who are like that, and the guys who like wherever you go, and you want to have that experience. But even for every barber every client who said that they would never go to that barber, there's a client who swears by that exact same barber.
Yeah.
So you got to find that balance, right?
True. Good question. Give it to him first.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you got to be a student of the game, so I'm always learning, right? I think, to be quite honest, right, is that the moment I say I made it, then I didn't make it, right? Because I don't care if it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they all have coaches, so I can always improve, right? And I think that when we have hire new barbers or existing barbers, we're not too good to say that, let another barber take it or learn from each other. So I would never say I've made it. I'm always improving, right? And again, I'm learning from the younger guys learn from the older guys, and so on and so forth. YouTube sometimes will teach you depending on if you're using it right, but there's always new techniques to learn. So, I've made it in terms of we're here, but we're still learning. If you still love the game. If you don't love the game, then you're going to have that attitude that you made it, but you still can always learn. You're not too good to learn.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, same thing. I'd say I've had haircuts that are pretty good, but like you said, there's always more room for improvement. I've had haircuts where I could say, wow, that was a really clean haircut that I gave. But then thinking back on it, there's always those little tweaks that I could have done to make it even better, right? So, yeah, I agree with what he said. Yeah.
Always learning.
For sure. Always learning. Always room to improve, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
And is there any levels to barber, or is when it comes to being a barber, is there any levels? Like you said, there's really high or really low?
For sure. But if you look at the industry, you'd have what you call a master barber. I don't know if any are, and that's so a master barber is someone who has been in it, a real OG,
Okay.
right? Then you have, The guys who are just learning, or like junior barbers or people who are apprentices or whatever. So there are levels to it. But a master barber is supposed to be able to cut everyone, and that would be in every shop. There should be 1 or 2 master barbers or more, for that matter, that have been in the industry for a long time, and they are the ones who disseminate the information to the younger barbers and kind of guide them and mentor them, right? And then you have the guys who've been cutting for a couple of years who might think they're master barbers, but they're not there yet, right? You know what I mean? And they're good, but they're not at that level yet, right? And then you go down the line until you get the guy who just walked through the doors and they want to learn, and they're nowhere near to be up there. But again, they're all learning from each other, right?
That makes a lot of sense,
right?
Because when it comes to cutting hair, a lot of people think they're like top notch because they get the clients they're getting.
Right, exactly, and that's like almost the music industry. Yeah. Are you looking at sales or quality of work? Because there are a lot of barbers who are busy. They have a great Instagram page, but can they cut? Right? Are they spray painting their hair? And even that between the young and the old, some of the the old guys will go on the young guys and say this is not a spray painting class, and some of the younger guys will say, but no, this is how you got to evolve with the time. So there's both of them that have to coexist for the industry to evolve, right?
Yeah, sure. Because a lot of times these days, like what makes you like top notch is the people that you cut, right?
Right.
Like ballers or
right. And I mean, it depends on the city you're in as well, right? So if you're in a city like Toronto, you're gonna have that. But again, because you cut a high-end client doesn't make you a good barber.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone wants to, right? Exactly. Yeah. So you have it twisted, right? But again, it's like Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat, all those social media outlets that a lot of the younger barbers utilize, right? And they have a lot of followers, but does that translate to sales, right? And that's a lot of times there's a disconnect between the young and the old, right? Where you want to bridge the gap that you're doing these things to get the people in the door, but can you cut, right? Is the bottom line. You can put something and post something, but did you even do that work? Was it enhanced or was that your actual cut as well, right? So there's you have to know the whole industry. Both sides.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Right. And I mean, and everywhere has its purpose, right? Again, if you're going to a gala, if you're in front of a camera and you want to use the enhancements, by all means, for sure, right? So I'm never against any of these things, but if you're, but you have to know the time and place for everything. I mean, if you're doing a photo shoot, for sure, why would you not want to look the best? Right. So again, a lot of the old G's want to, be against that. But they don't realize that there's a time and place for all the above, right? So I'm not against the young guy, not against the old guy.
We hope not.
Right? No, for sure, right? I can learn from each other.
But also, my last question: what is for a barber? What does it means to you to be a barber? What it means? What they say you're a barber? What do you think that means?
Very interesting question.
I'm just something that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a hair removal specialist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we just encompass as everything that you said is that we're more than just the hair removal specialist. We are the friend. We are the confidant. We are the
therapist.
Advisor,
everything.
We are the safe space. We are the consultant. We're all the above, right? When you're in this industry, I think that you go through it. I'll leave you with this. The barber is the most important person in your life. And a lot of people would think I'm crazy by saying that. But you're born, you'll go get your first haircut. Your mother or father will bring you for your first haircut. Yeah. Every milestone in your life, you're going to hit the barber, right? When you get married, go on the first date, graduation, your funeral, you are going to hit the barber. And they're going to travel with you forever.
That's true.
You got it, right?
He got it. I don't have much to say. He just killed it right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You got it now.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Sulaiman Sharifi.
I'm Sean Burnett, Phaser National.
Black Bobby one can on one. Real trap star, kill the day and tomorrow. Bobby my slime where stick inside the car. And I been eating good, put the L on top. Smell like 10 bad woods, think my heart gon' stop. Got a 2 ride miss, I call her Mary J. Miley. I go retarded, I dropped out of college. Bitch, I'm so late, ain't talking about none.